My arms are not too short. Yours are the arms that resemble the T-Rex, Batman.
Totally normal stuff going on as Mike watches Ruben Babe. Yeah, he's doing this. It's going to make a lot more sense in 25 minutes. We'll explain. Strong side of the show. It's coming at you right now.
What's up? It's StrongSide, episode 20. I'm Mike Marshall. He is Mike Palucci. We both work at D Magazine. That's the common thread right now, and we're just friends. We like talking sports, so hope you can put up with that. We're coming to you live, or somewhat live, from the Haymaker studio in Frisco, Texas. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for checking out our stuff. If you want to subscribe to D Magazine, that would help us out.
We'd appreciate that.
This
Keep
is
the lights on here.
absolutely free show. We don't charge you anything for it. We just rely on our subscribers and the kindness of their hearts and their interest in what we're doing. So please go subscribe to D Magazine and keep this thing funded. And go check out Haymaker Network on YouTube as well. They're friends of ours, and a lot of our stuff ends up over there. So we'd appreciate that. All right, enough sales. We got a really packed show. We got Zach Wolchuk on the show from G-Bag Nation and the Stack on Crown Global Media to talk Rangers as we are on the verge of opening day and Cowboys draft. So two things that are near and dear to our hearts. So fantastic show coming your way. Let's just jump into it, Mike. Let's go.
Let's do it. We don't need to wait for Zach to talk baseball. We can do that all by ourselves.
I'm a big boy. I can do what I want.
Yeah. Here's what I want you to do then. Let me give you some orders. You do with this what you will. Texas Rangers, we've done some complaining. We've done some fetching. But you know what, man? It's baseball season. It's all in the past. This is the team they've got. This is what they're going to go to war with. The betting lines have 83.5 as the win total, which would be good for second place in the AL West, give or take where you think Houston's going to go, right? That's real tight between
Where
Texas
was Houston's over under, do you know?
It's like right around there. It depends on what you're looking at.
Both
of them are definitely behind Seattle.
For sure.
Well behind the team that's really trying out here.
Yeah.
But my question for you is this. Are you more optimistic or less optimistic than that number going into the season with this group?
Slightly more. And I can explain why. I don't think they're going to be a real threat in the playoffs, but I think they can get north of 83.5.
Okay.
It sits right now. I don't think they're going to approach 90 necessarily, but if I had to put my hard-earned cash on a bet, not on Kalshi and not on Polymarket, that's for
those are evil.
That's for babies. That's ridiculous. I know how to bet. I don't need prediction markets. I can do this, okay, guys? We're big boys. We've been doing this a long time. We don't got to use prediction markets.
Didn't know we were doing Kalshi straight.
Hey,
I'm here for it.
I'm tired of every platform saying, like, we've exclusive deal with Kalshi. And I'm like, I know how to bet.
It's also just like if I see somebody affiliated with Kalshi Sports on Twitter, I'm like, that's an auto mute right there.
Yeah.
Nothing good is coming out of your mouth.
All the platforms or all the leagues have lined up to take their money immediately. So I had to comment on it in more public platforms.
Yeah.
So just bet like a man. I don't know what to tell you about all that. Unless you want to give us money, then we'll talk. So here's what's happened since the last time we talked. Andrew McCutchen is on the team, right?
Yeah.
So that was a quick, hey, come in, stay in the guest house. Actually, just go ahead and jump in.
That's the dream, man. That's like the NFL equivalent of skipping training camp.
Yeah.
Just like, you want me to come in for a couple weeks and earn a job? Absolutely.
Yeah. Kumar Rocker is the fifth starter, which I think was probably be a pretty big upset if I told you that a couple months ago.
I like it for the flexibility of Jacob Latz.
Yeah,
I like not having to go to that right away. You could play that card in May or June if Rocker's not giving you what you need. You flip him, and I still think worst case, if you just tell Rocker to throw a fastball and throw that breaking ball, he'd be a very good high leverage reliever.
Yep.
But try to use the Jacob Latz thing in the bullpen. Also gives you an option not to let you do Robert Garcia in the ninth inning and not just think, well, where are my lefties coming from in the earlier innings? So I'm into
strategic move. We'll see how long it lasts or if it's even that way a couple months into the season.
Right.
Carter Baumler made the roster, which is cool for a Rule 5 pick. It was a cool moment. I think everybody, including whenever you get shared as a team, whenever you get shared by the league account, that's pretty cool.
He did something.
MLB amplified it, and that's pretty neat, right? All right, so this isn't that hard of a game. It's run prevention and it's run scoring.
Yeah.
One of which your top five, one of which your bottom five, right? And did they do enough to insulate themselves from that very obvious, glaring wound that is their offense last season? Absolutely not. No, they didn't. They didn't. But if you want to anticipate, which this is kind of, a foolhardy endeavor here, but to anticipate a full season of health for Evan Carter or a full season of health for Corey Seager or Josh Smith doesn't evaporate in the second half of the year or Jock Peterson and Jake Berger aren't the worst hitters in baseball for stretches of time.
I feel good about Jake Berger not doing that.
I think Jake Berger will be okay. Jock Peterson,
we'll see.
That ticket might have expired, folks. You're holding it. So it is a baseball team that I think with Skip as the manager will play pretty sharp. I think they're going to try and press the edges, which I mean, on the base paths defensively, working at bats. Nimmo was brought in to do just that.
Yep.
The attention to detail that Skip's going to bring, and just a different voice, I think, with a different group of guys. I think the first half of the season, you can actually have an impact on that. Now, what happens when your lineup starts getting deteriorated? Josh Smith out a couple weeks. Corey Seager out he misses 3 weeks at a time pretty regularly. That's kind of his thing. When that happens, how do you win a one stinking game that you're not pitching a complete game shutout?
Yeah, and you're getting to the thing that makes me a little more pessimistic about that number, which is there is not a lot of margin for error.
No.
Anywhere, right?
No.
The farm's
razor thin right now.
Right. They cleaned out what was left of the farm, not counting Sebastian Walcott, who obviously, as we talked about, isn't really going to be playing much this year. You clean that out to go get Mackenzie Gore, as you should, right? Mackenzie Gore is a great pickup. We are fans of that. We'll talk to Zach about him, but I think we're all in agreement that dude could pitch. But what are you calling up? I think there's some options that you could call up in the late innings with the bullpen. Jose Corniel, maybe Mark Church finally does this. I know a lot of people have been hyped about Emiliano Teodo. This time a year ago, people were way into that idea. You got some names. After that, what's helping your lineup? What's helping your rotation? Guys that really make an impact? No, they're not in this system anymore. And so you look, and you need a lot of things to go right in this lineup. A lot of them. You can withstand, Josh Young still being hurt or banged up or below average, or an Evan Carter not progressing, or Berger. I really think Berger's going to be fine. I would be surprised. And Jamie Newberg and I are going to have a conversation on the website today, one of our little check-ins we do with each other. And I wrote about Berger, and I'd be surprised if this dude isn't hitting 25 homers this year if he's in the lineup every day, which is a lot considering that the leader on the team last year was Wyatt Langford with 22. So I think that's fine. But you basically need a lot of things to hit, because if more than 2 or 3 things go wrong, there are not fallback plans here. And if you go to the rotation, okay, I love this rotation like everybody else does. The rotation hinges on 2 dudes who, by the time the All-Star break rolls around, they'll be a combined 74 years old with 4 Tommy John surgeries between them. That's not to say that Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi aren't amazing, because they are.
It's like a bumper sticker or something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we put it in those terms. It's just we sit here and go, oh, well, it's Jake and Nate, and it's fine. And if they're on the mound, then it probably will be fine. But this can go south in a hurry when you're that age and you throw that hard and your arms, have been operated on and repaired twice over. So I just worry, not for lack of high-end talent, because how many teams can match you with Langford and Seager anchored in your lineup and deGrom and Eovaldi in rotation? Not many. That's not the problem. I don't think managing is going to be a problem. I like Skip Schumacher. I think this front office is very good and has done a lot with its one hand tied behind its back. But at some point, and this is the Cowboys conversation too, if you don't do enough things and you don't really push your advantages to what they should be, which in the Rangers case is you have an owner who has shown he wanted to spend before, doesn't want to anymore, you don't have outs. You need everything to go right. And the story of the last 2 years of Rangers baseball, really the last 3, because in 23, everything did go right. Everything broke their way. And then the next 2 years, things have gone wrong over and over and over again, a lot of the time with health. So it's not like I'm projecting much by saying, well, what if everything doesn't go right and somebody underperforms or somebody gets hurt? That's been the norm in the last 2 years. But there's not really enough of a safety net. And so I do worry. I don't doubt that they get to the deadline, they'll try to do something. Chris Young always wants to. The question is, what are you going to do something with? Now, the silver lining and the optimistic scenario here is that this team isn't very good at developing guys in the major leagues right now. They had that one stretch in 23 where it looked like they did that, when you were sitting there and going, wow, Leody Taveras became a major league center fielder. Jonah Heim is a freaking all-star, and Josh Young is an all-star. Where was this the last 10 years? And then it was all a mirage, right? Wyatt Langford is the guy, but Wyatt Langford, I think, was kind of a finished product. He's just a freak. They're not great at that, but what they are very good at is every year there are 2 or 3 dudes who pop up in the system and look like they're real good in the minors. Like an Alejandro Rosario, who's a key part of this deal for Mackenzie Gore. You didn't know who he was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's a dude who became a guy, and then he gets traded, and people are like, oh, you just traded him. Okay, but you didn't know who he was, and given this team's track record, there was no guarantee he was really developing, right? A Thomas Sajesi, who was moved out in the deal for Jordan Montgomery. That's a guy who was a mid-round pick, nice little prospect, became something that you could build a trade around. Would I be shocked if there's a name or two in the system who in 2 months we're going, wow, that might be something? Not at all. And then you flip that guy because the window's now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're going to have to do something at the deadline. This team, as it's currently constructed, is not complete. We'll see if they can pull that off. I'm a little nervous, but as it stands right now, I know that rotation, as long as it's healthy, is going to do a lot of heavy lifting. We know that there's at least 3 really good hitters in this lineup, and I think Berger will be something. And then at that point, if you can get one more, right? You know, it's not like Josh Smith doesn't have proof of concept that he's a good hitter. And maybe playing one position all year long instead of shifting all over the place and doing whatever the team needs to do 5 nights a week. Maybe that lets him prepare a little more. Maybe his body's a little bit better for it. There's ways that can go well. It's why Vegas is smart and good at what they do. They build really good lines that make us think like what we're doing right now. I'm a little more on the pessimistic side. You're a little more on the optimistic side. I don't think either would surprise me. And that's because they've done the hardest things, right? It's like the Mavs conversation. We'll get there in a second. You can fuck around and do a lot of stuff, but if you got the biggest thing right of here are my franchise centerpieces, then a lot can go fall into place. You have 2 really awesome hitters. You have 2 really awesome starting pitchers. You can figure out a lot to offset the margins in both of those areas now.
Yeah, and the thing that has short-circuited your season twice in a row is not having the lineup depth to withstand injuries.
Right.
And not addressing that in a very serious way, to me, is a pretty big sin of a front office.
Incredibly disappointing.
Like, just having the same exact thing that has ruined your season the last 2 seasons, ruin your season for a 3rd time.
And we should group ownership into this, right?
Yeah,
because, you know, if a front office is told you can't spend and you only have so many prospects you could trade because the mandate for so long was win, well, then what can you do? I think they proved that they are smart enough to engineer something that helps them with the Gore trade, where they said, we will package these prospects, some of the few that we have, who are far out timetable guys, won't help us this year, and we'll go get some help. Yep. So I don't think it's a lack of aggression. I don't think it's a lack of ingenuity. I think it's a lack of resources, which is a choice.
Yeah, that it is a choice. And that's unforgivable from my standpoint, right? To go into this season and say, I think I can put a pretty big stamp on what I think this thing is going to be like. And I think they're going to play pretty sharp, and they're going to be pretty good through about 2-3 months of this season. Talk to me whenever it starts getting really hot out there, right?
Yeah.
And whenever a guy misses time. And I think they're going to wither, and they're going to get really, really unstable. And the only thing I don't want them to do, I understand they probably need to make a trade at some point. You got to fix, whenever you're in the hole, like the trade you have to make to get back.
Don't trade Bassey is what you're getting at.
Yeah, well, yeah, like Bassey for sure. But also just like, you know, don't think that you're like this player away, when in reality your lineup isn't, because you're missing a couple guys already. Like, oh, it's like if the Stars went out at the trade deadline and got the biggest ticket thing to fix them because they're freaking out about the injury situation, right? Like it's sunk cost, right? If Jock Peterson goes away and Josh Smith gets hurt and Corey Seager's missing that month, you can get in a pretty bad headspace pretty quick of, oh my God, we scored 2 runs over the last 3 games. I got to do something here. And let me sell out and acquire whatever.
Yeah, well, and I think the problem is that baseball's system now, with how the playoff format works, incentivizes this, right? And I wrote about this. I did the annual essay for the Baseball Prospectus, big book this year on the Rangers, and I wrote about the idea of flukiness. And because a lot of people ripped the 23 team and said they were fluky, which who cares?
Yeah, I don't
World
care,
Series,
man.
Even if it's true.
Doesn't matter at all to me.
But the Rangers since then are falling to a trap that a lot of other teams have fallen into, which is, I just got to get in because it's random. So get me there and things can happen. Maybe. But the real smart lesson to take from this, which is what the Dodgers do, is the postseason is random. Let me do what I can to minimize randomness. Yeah. And that's why the Dodgers just won back-to-back World Series and why they're the boogeyman. And I'm not saying you have to spin like that, but you have to have that mindset of the randomness isn't your friend and maybe catch the wind of the sails. The randomness is the thing you should be scared of, and you should be trying to stave it off at all costs.
Yeah.
And this team is operating right now, not necessarily of the mandate of the front office, but I think from ownership down of, get in there and anything can happen. When it should be, we better get there and let's make sure as few things can happen as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what could lead them to making a bad trade at the deadline, because it's like, well, we just got to get in.
Yeah.
Because we got in one time and we ran the table and that was great. But that was a great result from a pretty weird process. And I don't think they've learned any of the right lessons from any of that.
I think the concept of this team and rolling out a starting lineup for the first week of the season is pretty sound. Now talk to me 90 games in.
Yeah, let's see what we got.
Do you have a proper concept of how to survive a season? That's the thing I'm not buying into.
Yeah.
And that's with me thinking that the pitching might be fine. That all these guys are going to stay healthy and the old guys are going to be fine and Evaldi's going to be close to what he was last year and DeGrom's not going to need a third surgery and all this stuff, right? So it's just a question of which regression do you want to believe in?
Yeah.
You're going to believe the offense can't possibly be as bad and as cursed as it has in the past? Or do you think the pitching can't be the best pitching rotation in baseball again? Right? One of those.
You can tell me either story.
Yeah,
you honestly can.
Exactly. So, I think it's going to be a fun first half of the season.
Yeah.
What happens after that? You got a lot of work to do at the trade deadline if you really, really legitimately want to be up there with the Mariners, up there with the rest of the teams that are going to be pushing, because the Mariners are just stacked across the board.
They're doing things the right way. There's a process.
I don't think you can get there. So, all right. So I'm going to state my my standing now on when I will watch my next Mavericks game.
Okay, when is it?
I think opening night next year.
Okay.
All
right.
I think I want to experience some Cooper Flagg in my life.
You should. He's awesome.
Allow myself some joy outside of highlights, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Because I've abstained from Mavericks basketball this season because they needed to take a lap.
An 82-game lap.
They needed to take a lap.
Yeah,
and it's been fine, and I haven't driven myself crazy about anything, and my mental health is probably better for it.
Yes.
But if I told you at this point in, I don't know, let's say, well, the second after you won the lottery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cooper Flagg's not winning Rookie of the Year this year.
My eyebrows would have raised.
But for who? What are we talking about? Who could possibly jump in the Rookie of the Year race?
Turns out it was the other white guy from Duke.
It's the guy right next to him.
Like a decoy white guy from Duke.
Yeah, it's the other dude that has like the goofiest hair on earth and just knocks down 400 threes.
They're like 4 little brothers who all have weird names that begin with K.
Yeah,
it's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's the one that seems like he's somehow more from Maine than the kid that's actually from Maine.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, so Kon Knueppel won't get the F out of the way.
Nope.
And
bend the knee, Kon.
I thought it was a cute little storyline the first half of the year.
I
was like, oh, that's fun. He's playing good on a bad team with a bunch of bozos and knocking down 7 threes a game. Who cares? Like, this will wear off. And man, he has not gone away.
Well,
he is trying to ruin the party.
Well, and also the Hornets stop being bad.
Yeah,
is the other thing that
you give a team enough top 5 picks, eventually they will be okay.
Yeah,
I think
this one isn't going to know that life. So.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Cooper Flagg is in a Rookie of the Year race, and let's start with this. If he doesn't miss 11 games, I don't think this is a race.
Right.
Because I think deep down in your basketball heart of hearts, if you really think Kon Knueppel's a better basketball player than him, I don't know what to tell you, dude. He's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. That dude can play. Nobody is taking that dude to start a team over Cooper Flagg. So let's start with this baseline here. And if you don't believe me, Brian Dameris did a great piece on the site for this. He made the whole case for Flagg. There's a bunch of numbers in there. We got the mic numbers on the cell phone thing. It's already queued up this time.
Fixed it.
We're already ready. Brian found some bangers in here. For instance, and this ran on Monday. So there've been games since then where Flagg just keeps up in the ante. But as of Monday, across the board, Flagg is top 5 among rookies in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. Only 6 rookies in the last 30 years have done that. He has had, and I think the numbers climbed since then, but 30 games with at least 10, 5, and 5, which is more than double the next closest rookie. Kon, as of Monday, had 10 of those games.
Uh-oh.
And even though he played 11 more of them. There's a bunch of stats like that.
Yeah.
He is the better player. And I suppose the question is twofold. It's 1, do I think he's going to win in the end? And 2, do we care if he wins? The first question for me, I think eventually when this is all said and done, he will. If he plays the rest of the year, I just get back to, and I hate this weenie argument, and I don't even like it for MVP arguments a lot of the time with people just sit there and say best guy on the best team. And it's one thing if you do that for an MVP. When you're doing that for rookie of the year, oh, he's on a better team and he's a rookie. What are we doing, guys? All right, these teams, it's not like the Hornets are winning a title. It's not like he's the best player on a title team.
Yeah, hang that banner of third in the whatever Atlantic.
Congrats. Also, it's also worth noting that like they have a lot more going for them in terms of cohesion, right? This is not the first top 5 pick the Hornets have had on that roster. Yep. Brandon Miller's around. LaMelo and his terrible driving is around. Miles Bridges,
still
the
there.
worst human in the NBA, still there, somehow not in jail. Google him. You'll understand why. So it's not like he's the only dude. There is a core there. The core here is Cooper and whatever stuff comes around in the next 3 years.
Remember Ryan Nembhard?
Yeah, that was fun.
We were like, oh, that guy can play a little bit.
Yeah, and but that's the point, right?
That was the high point.
The core is Cooper and 2 dudes who are not playing, i.e. the pick that they will land this year and maybe Derek Lively. Right? That's it. So let's not pretend these are similar circumstances. I think ultimately history has tended to reward the better player. I don't think anybody thinks Kon Knueppel is the better player. I think Cooper wins narrowly, but it was fun because Dameris talked to Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd, I think, was the last one to split Rookie of the Year with Grant Hill.
It was, yeah.
And we have a split. I'd be fine with that. That'd be interesting. That'd be fun.
That'd be really tough, though, isn't it? Because they calculate the voting different now.
They probably do. I don't know if it's possible anymore.
I don't know. Rookie of the Year is one that I actually do care about. Because whenever we get it big wrong and someone just flames the hell out, like I feel like that's so embarrassing. Because it's like Rookie of the Year is just a forward-thinking
exercise.
Like, it's absolutely extrapolating out. I've seen this. I expect him to be this. Yeah. Whenever we just like swing and miss and someone, I can't think of I'll pull up the list in a minute, but there's some embarrassing ones.
Well, right? And then there are some that, like, put it this way. Is there a scenario where Cooper Flagg isn't incredible barring injury? No, I don't think there is. It exists. And by incredible, I mean guy who could be the best dude in a title team. And
Kon Knueppel's like Glenn Rice. Like, that's cool.
I dig
great stuff.
I would love Kon Knueppel as the number 2 here with Flagg. I still don't know how the two of them didn't win the NCAA title last year.
Yeah, how are they so bad?
How did that not happen? But I always think of a Tyreek Evans. And Tyreek deserved Rookie of the Year that year.
Yeah.
But you look back and you're just like, oh, that's awkward.
Super awkward, dude.
Super awkward. You don't want to make an awkward pick. All right. This is the non-awkward pick. I care about it in the sense of it is still history. And it is still significance. And this is a team that I think it's a part of its legacy is always kind of trying to measure up. This isn't an NBA glamour franchise. This isn't the place every free agent wants to go, even though it's going to be, it's market 4 now. It'll be market 3 in the next 10 to 12 years, right? We're on pace to pass Chicago. I feel like this is a team whose identity is always kind of trying to measure up in a little bit. So adding more bricks in the wall of history, like legit history and legit really good players. That's how I always feel too about when I see the jerseys in the rafters. We've talked before, and I think you're right about how you got to memorialize your history. You got to embrace that. But I also look at them just like, how many of those jerseys would necessarily be retired by another team? Because other than Dirk, maybe a Roe Blackman or maybe a Mark, but really just Dirk.
Aguirre might have been.
Maybe Aguirre, but really just Dirk is the one where you're just like, yes, any team ever.
Yeah.
And this is a guy in Cooper Flagg who should have a career that if he stays here will go down as any team ever would look at that and be like, that defined the next 10, 15 years. And so I just kind of feel like it's historically correct if that guy gets a big honor because you want, I'm not throwing shit on anybody whose jersey's up there. They all contributed to this franchise. They all earned that moment. But what I'm saying is that every franchise longer you go, you want to have dudes who point to and be like, that freaking guy played here, and I know that my kids are going to know who that guy is.
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg will be one of those. So the more things you could put on the Wikipedia page to kind of burnish the resume and be like, look, you know who Dirk was, you know who Luka Doncic was, you know who Cooper Flagg was. Get started early. Get that thing on the resume. So for me, I do care that he wins. I think it would be a cool thing to start a career that should be really, really special and hopefully is here the whole time.
I'm excited for the Luka jersey in the rafters.
I still think it'll happen someday.
The thing that's going to drive me insane, and I've already seen this, and I saw it from one of our forefathers in this sports landscape, was he was talking about his MVP vote, Michael Wilbon, who is one of the OGs, respect, love, but he was saying he wasn't going to vote for Luka in his top 5 of MVP because he doesn't play that half of the court.
Which isn't even that true anymore, but
I don't know if it's that. It's never been. Well, I don't know. It's second or third year. I was moments. I could put.
Yeah,
I could put together a YouTube.
But I'm saying
reel.
this year, there are actually numbers that are pointing to the fact he's playing D.
Yeah, he's fine. But
it's just a
even just to say that's a valid point.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's an impact defender. You know who is? And is significantly better defensively, like worlds beyond Kon Knueppel defensively.
Yep.
And for some reason we can't take that into account on every award.
Yeah, it's only
Cooper Flagg.
We pick and choose.
One of the best defenders on the court every time he's playing, guarding the most difficult assignment on the other team. Chase down, blocked, steals. You quoted all the numbers. He breaks the model for what a player in a season is supposed to be able to do in counting stats. He did it in basketball and in college basketball. He was the only guy that had those numbers ever. Yeah. His 1 year at Duke. Ever.
And as we talked about before, this is a guy who still should be in college.
Yes, and
he was in the NBA right now.
He should have been a high school senior when he did this.
Yeah.
And he just far and away, it's a cute story with Kon Knueppel, but I'm sorry, dude. You gotta recognize when the T-Rex is in the pen. Like, you gotta recognize when the alpha predator is shown up.
Yeah.
And he missed a minute. Cool, we're gonna F up a rookie of the year thing because he missed 11 games. Who cares,
if he plays the whole season, or if Charlotte doesn't have this improbable surge that is very much because of Kon Knueppel, but not only because of Kon Knueppel, this isn't even like a thing we're doing mental gymnastics about.
No, and it was just a wave of a season, right? You look up and you're 30, 40 games in, and you're like, oh, guess who's good right now?
Yeah.
That we didn't expect to be good right now. And then you get past the All-Star break, and it's like, all right, who's actually going to make the playoffs and who can threaten? And you forget about all that bullshit.
And so I do think as we stack a few more weeks of Cooper reminding people how good this dude is, I think this logic will prevail in the end. He's doing... this is really the most ethical tank the Mavericks have ever had.
Pretty nice.
It was that Warriors game was just the piece de resistance of Cooper stat padding for this trophy, and then they lose in overtime anyways. I think he'll pull that out. I think it matters if he pulls it out. But if he doesn't pull it out, we'll get angry on the show again. Why not?
Yeah.
We're good at that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll curse at all the NBA writers that had a vote.
Yeah, just read the list.
One by one.
One by one. The whole show
Get ready.
is just a bit of you just saying a name and be like, what's your deal?
Yeah, exactly. What's wrong with you?
What's your deal?
Who hurt you? Mike, I had a pretty good time prepping for this show.
I know you did. We should cheer people up. We got dark last week with the draft.
I had a pretty good time prepping for the show, and that's because I got to watch a lot of my T-Rex arm son.
Yeah.
Ruben Bain Jr. of the U. Damn, that guy's fun to watch, dude.
I saw some tweet that really summed the whole deal up a couple months ago, and people were talking about his arm length and all that, and somebody just quoted it. It was just like, but if you consider that he plays like he has rabies?
yeah. That's a
compelling argument.
That's a good note. It's funny that the arm length thing was like and it is an outlier, right? Let me tell you who has like over 2-inch shorter wingspan than Ruben Bain.
Hit me.
Cassius Howell.
Yeah.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah,
something's wrong with his arms. Like Ruben Bain is like, he's just kind of built weird. Cassius Howell, I'm like, what's going on with you, bro? Like, that's really weird. Are they not measuring you right? Do you not know where an armpit is and where it ends?
Yeah.
So I don't know. If you're freaking out about Ruben Bain, I think you need to click over to the Cassius Howell Wikipedia page and maybe freak out harder.
To be fair, different expectations. Cassius Howell's a fringe first-round guy.
Yeah.
Big Bain, people are talking about as I think we'd be happy
10,
to get here at 12. But remind people why if he's somehow there at 12, you turn that card in and you're happy.
I don't care about the arm length. I care about wingspan, right? And I learned this from growing up playing basketball and playing post. I never had longer arms than most of the dudes, right? I have like a completely flat, just zero arm length. My arms aren't longer than my height. I have really wide shoulders. You know who has really, really wide shoulders and is a thick dude?
Yep.
Ruben Bain.
Yeah.
Built like a fucking backboard, dude. Like, he is wide as shit.
Yeah.
You're not going to block his shot if he's over here. Just like he's going to be able to pull you like that. He's going to be able to swim you. Like, it was not an issue. Like, not any more than I think any other rookie pass rusher would have with being able to, like, hit guys in their chest.
Yeah.
Offensive tackles in the league are very good.
Yep.
They're very good. They're not going to expose their chest. They're not going to let you get hands on them. But his overall wingspan is less than a half inch away from the exact ideal wingspan. So arm length, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Talk to me about wingspan. Are you going to notice? You're noticing that? You're noticing
Yeah,
that.
this is where we get a little.
You're
a little
noticing
nitpicky.
that. When that guy, this is just a thing, and I love Dane Brugler, but he was a really early guy to bring this up. Like, oh, what about Bane's wingspan and his arm length? And I'm like, are you trying to make him dip down to the Cowboys? Are you like trying to make him slide a little bit?
Sleeper cell operation.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Bane. Remarkably thick lower body. Like, if you think of Aaron Donald and what he looks like, waist down, that's pretty close to what Bane looks like, dude. It doesn't look, the top half and the bottom half don't match. Like, he is so strong and thick on every level of his lower body. Like, the rear end to the hips, to the quads, to the, dude, his ankles are humongous.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like he could, like, be in the circus, like balancing 3 people on one leg. Like, he's that stable and that strong. It just looks like the lower half of, like, fucking Hulk. It's nuts, dude.
Yeah, I mean, there were people who, and I don't think this is his path, but I saw people wondering early in the process, do you actually bulk him up and make him a 3-tech?
Yeah, you could, because the upper body is not, it's not thin, but it's more slender.
Yeah.
It looks like most pass rushers.
Yeah.
The lower half is nuts, dude. And I think it's because he has long torso thing, where your legs are just a little bit more uneven than your top half is, but it gives you balance. He has incredible balance. Like, he is, I've never seen a dude really bend like that at that size, which he is 270 plus, 6'2", 270 plus, right? Plays, I'll get into his usage here in a little bit, but he always plays wide. He's off tackle. He's not playing in the inside. At least that's not how Miami used him. Maybe the next team does. The ability for a dude of that size, usually you got a guy that's like, think of some of the A&M guys. A&M always recruits these same kind of guys. Cassius Howe is one of them, but he doesn't have the long arms. It's like high butt, like trying to bend the edge, like gradually. Like kind of like, this real cute.
Round it off.
Yeah, round it off a
yeah.
little bit, edge, and I'm going to meet you back here. Dude, Bane is like 1, 2, 3, 4, violent hands, torque the hip. Like, he just cuts that shit. It is not a nice little scoop. It's not an ice cream cone scoop, dude. It is a fucking, I'm here and I'm going that way now. And he does it better than just about anybody I've ever seen as a pass rusher. The first thing you're going to notice is the violence with the hands. You might say his arms are short. You can't get your arms on him. So it doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah.
It does not matter. As a tackle, whenever you are dropping back, I did watch a lot of pass sets, and run game, he might even be better. It's just not as fun to watch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's a complete end.
He's absolutely a complete end. The hands are insane. I don't know how he developed this. I don't know if he's like a boxing guy, if he's an MMA guy. But as a tackle, whenever you set and you declare, I'm trying to move you out, I'm trying to anchor you in. Dawkins from Buffalo does a lot of, I'm going to grab up here and throw you down on the ground.
Big, strong boy.
Yeah, using your arms as a direction. Like, I'm going to slide you out here. I'm going to get you in here. I'm going to pull you down. Or you can just punch, The second you declare against him, if you're over declared in any way and off balance, dude, that arm's coming up and he's going to knock your ass like 4 yards that way. He uses your momentum and your punch and
against
your grip completely against you in the way like rest in peace Chuck Norris would do. Use your karate, your karate momentum against you. And it's nuts to watch him because these dudes, a lot of the dudes, he played against a lot of high caliber offensive tackles.
Yeah.
And he is throwing those dudes. And I don't know if it's because he has the ability to, his lower half is so like kind of like sawed off and thick, has the ability to get like those in between steps. Like, you're settling, you're doing chop, 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 and I did chop, chop, boom. But, dude, he gets guys looking silly as hell in a pass set. And these are legit offensive tackles.
Yeah.
Left tackles, right tackles. Dudes
he moves around. He goes either side.
He goes either side. And it's because the underfront, and I'll tell you how Miami kind of built their run defense completely around him, which is very impressive.
For an edge, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess the question for the next level would be, okay, every tackle is the best tackle you've ever played against.
Right.
Most likely. Right? Some weeks you might be starting a Yahoo over there on the left side just because whatever. But these guys are not going to let you get in here. In fact, they're going to grab you, even if you have requisite arm length. They're going to grab you and direct you before you can even get to them. And maybe Bane's quick enough and violent enough. He can do the same kind of shit and hit your hands and pull your pad down and, do the rip pull. But I think the challenge for him next level is how do you win consistently on the pass rush reps when you can't win inside, right? Because these tackles are all very good.
Yeah.
They're going to know what you're
doing. They know your tricks.
They know your tricks.
Yeah.
I'm not that worried about it, though, because he's found a way to win at his size and with his body and his skill set since he was a freshman.
Yeah, and that's the
right?
part that for me, seeing him in college,
Yeah.
you always like the dudes who were dudes the whole way through. Ruben
Yeah.
Bain was one of the best freshmen in the country.
Yes.
Banged up as a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason he didn't break out even earlier. And then the expectation was, okay, he's healthy. Weird year last year. Let's see what you got. And he was the best player on a national champion runner-up.
Yeah.
And that stuff matters to me. And I think it matters to NFL teams, right? Why was Tyler Booker taken last year? It wasn't just that he's very good. It's, Duke Bendingmother and I talked about this. He was a culture setter.
Yep.
And you wanted that guy in your O-line room who's going to be the leader. And it was going to be the guy who, came from a winning program, won stuff, was the best dude when he was around, and you paid attention, wanted to follow that guy into war. That's Ruben Bain. And on a defense that is a blank slate in a lot of ways, it's not just about getting a guy who can get to the quarterback. It's about who can I plug in here, and it's setting the culture of this room for the next, hopefully 5-7+ years.
Yep.
And he could be that dude. And that's a real thing, because you look at, it can go either way if you have that big freshman year than the mediocre sophomore year. Look at Harold Perkins. Harold Perkins as a freshman was a freak.
Yep.
And then he had a weird sophomore year, and I was like, all right, let's see what happens. He's probably a 7th-round guy now.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to care about Harold Perkins in a year.
Yep.
You're just not. But this dude, just like, okay, fine. And a whole program rose back up around him. I know it's the NIL era. You can microwave some stuff, but it wasn't because Carson Beck came from Georgia. It's because Ruben Bain, as a dude who comes from Miami blood, built that defense around him. Mm-hmm. I'm mostly more and more on board with Hakeem Mesidor by the week. Yeah. But Hakeem Mesidor gets some of the matchups he gets because Ruben Bain is terrifying.
Yeah. Well, the way Miami built their defense, and I honestly think he sacrificed some sack totals because of what they did, right? So the way he's used, it's an under front. So think of it as strong side of the line, there's going to be a nose, slightly shaded. Weak side of the line, there's 2 other guys over here. There's one man on the strong side of the offensive alignment.
Hanging by himself.
That's Ruben Bain.
Yeah.
If you want to take 3 guys and try and single and triple team him, you could. Mm-hmm. You could. It'll compromise, obviously, what you've got with the nose and the shaded guy. It's strong side of the line, declare. Bain's over there. He's got it.
Yeah.
And that's what they did consistently. He's always a 5 or 6 tech, strong side player. What it allows you to do for a coach like, Mario Cristobal, their defensive coordinator, and what it could allow Christian Parker to do is say, I'm going to play numbers on the other side. On the weak side, dare you to run over there. You're outnumbered. You can't defend it. Dare you to run at Bain. Go ahead. You're gonna try and muscle Bain out of the C gap. How you gonna do that? You gonna use your tight end? You're gonna throw a tight end at him? Yeah. Okay, that's adorable. Yeah. You either have to double team him the entire play with 2+ blockers, or avoid him. That's how dominant he was in run defense. Yeah. And Miami had this trick in their bag the entire season, and that's why they were so good defensively. They could outnumber you on weak side and throw Bain over their strong side and say, "Yeah, go fuck with that." Right. You want to run the ball over there? Go ahead, dude. Tackle for loss, incoming, right now. Yeah. He did it the entire year. And the other side, they obviously had Mesidor, who turned. That's kind of why Mesidor got as many sacks as he did. Yeah. Because
Ruben Bain has drawn a whole bunch of attention.
Yes, dude. They are constantly trying to double tight end, duo block, tight end tackle out there. And there are so many times and so many plays that I watched where he completely ruins the tight end's path in the play, whoops the tackle's ass, and the running back's like, I don't know where to go now.
It's freaking out.
Yeah, like what do I do?
I mean, the last thing that I'll say, going back to the arm length thing, and this is why I don't think he's going to be there at 12. This is more if last week was the doomsday scenario of what happens at 12, this is hey, this could be really good if this happens at 12. Every edge rusher in this draft has something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're all.
You an Arvell Reese guy? Great. He's probably better off ball linebacker.
Yeah.
You you a David Bailey person? Cool. Is he stopping the run?
Right.
I don't know. Keem Mesidor, 25 with medicals.
Yeah.
Cassius Howell can't stop the run to save his life. Every one of them has something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little less worried about the 2 inches of arm length.
I don't care.
For a dude who I watched dominate
the
highest level, who plays hard, who by everything that I'm aware of, because I'm not in an NFL locker room, I'm not at the University of Miami, everything I've ever heard is that he's a good culture dude. Like, it's not. It's like the Delane thing before Delane ran a 4.3 and ruined our whole dream. Even the worst case scenario is pretty good here, and the best case scenario is everybody sitting there in 3 years going, "Why do we care about the arm length? Because this guy's an All-Pro."
Yeah,
that could happen. So I'd be pretty thrilled if that dude comes here. But you know what? Maybe he can, Mike. What are we gonna do right now? We're gonna do something fun.
Let me hit you with the pressures first on Bane, because I want people to know these numbers.
Okay.
68 pressures last year. 12 sacks. 23.5 pass rush win rate.
And that's with leaving stuff on the table.
That's with him being the core of their run defense.
Yeah.
That's remarkable, dude.
Yeah, he's really good. Really, really, really good.
Think Dwight Freeney, think Elvis Doomerville. Those are my comps.
Yeah.
But you might say, like, oh, I want a better player than that, dude. You might not remember how good
I would say I would be fine with Dwight Freeney. Thank you. Please and thank you.
Yeah. But there's only a month till the draft.
It's coming up.
After this, we only have three more of these shows.
Yep.
Do a good old-fashioned mock draft. How about that?
Let's go.
Sound like fun?
Let's do it.
Everybody in the control room confident in this? We can pull this up? All right. Let's do it. There's literally no better way to get reps for a draft. You know this during fantasy football. Like, draft season comes around, crank up that mock simulator. So you don't freak out whenever you're there and everyone's cleaned out.
Can't get twitchy.
Can't get twitchy. No.
Nope.
None of that. So my preferred mock draft simulator is Pro Football Focus. I think they do a fantastic job. There are people working on it every day, updating it by the minute.
Very visually pleasing too. It's just a nice design.
They're clean. They know what they're doing.
They do.
Shout out Dalton Wasserman over there. He's on their college football show. That dude's great. So this might be, I'm going to give you a heads up.
Okay.
This might be one of those doomsday scenarios because I've done a lot of these.
Yeah. We'll get behind the scenes here. Mike and I were sitting there going, what should we talk about this week as a fourth topic? And Mike was like, we're mock drafted. And then I'm just getting texts. Like I can tell you're in the mines. Running it and running it and running it.
I do about 5 a night before I go to it's like your nighttime vitamin. I'm like, here we go. Let's get these 5 mock drafts. So let's bring this thing up. The PFF mock draft simulator. Obviously, the Cowboys at 12 and 20. This is just showing the first pick for everybody. Kind of depressing for Broncos fans. You don't have a pick until 62, but deal with it.
You get Jalen Waddle in your life.
Yeah, you'll be all right. So let's crank this thing up, man. Let's enter this draft room. I'm not going to try any trades on this one. If we want to jump back in afterwards and try and trade up to like 6 before the draft starts, or trade up to like 8, which I think you might need to do to get your hands on a one Ruben Bain.
Maybe we try that next week.
We'll try that next week.
I'm increasingly of the mind that you try to get to 6, but let's see if we try that next week. For now, let's just run it nice and clean and see what
it will offer trades to you, which I'll show you how that works. But here you go. All right, let's start this bad boy. Right,
you're the captain.
There you go. Okay, Ed Wentz, Fernando Mendoza, Ruben Bain Jr. number 2.
There goes that idea.
Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Caleb Downs to the Giants, Sonny Style. This is 5 straight defensive players.
Breaking in a bad way.
Jeremiah Love, Mansour Delane, 8. Carnell Tate, 9 to the Kansas City Chiefs. 10, Francis, you can say the last name.
Maui
Goa. Spencer Fano, 11 to the Dolphins. The best players available for your Dallas Cowboys.
A few dudes we've chatted about. Your son.
Cinnamon, Freeling, Kenyon Sadiq.
My boy, Makai.
The guard from Penn State, Jermard McCoy, CJ Allen. This gets really gross real quick. Do you want to look at the trades?
Yeah, sure.
Might
as well see what's out of the clock here.
Oh, the Jets kind of want to jump back in.
What are they?
The Lions, well, you can select what to offer, right? So I'm going to say Jets, I want 16 and 33.
Okay.
Here's 12. That ain't going to work. I'm going to do 92? 12 and 92. 37% chance of being accepted. All right, let's throw in let's throw in 180, see where it goes. 43%. Let's just see if they accept it. Nah, not happening.
No.
All right, let's try the Lions. Let's see what the price is for the Lions move up from 17 to 12. I'm going to put 17, 50. Taking this crap out of here. You don't get that, Lions. Not for you. They would take 17 and 50 for 12. You want me to offer it, or you want to pick somebody here?
I would gladly go back and do that. But if you want, I mean, listen, we could do that, or we could stay and just run this out.
I'm fine running it out.
Let's run it out. Let's just see where this goes.
All right, now we got a discussion to have.
I don't think it's a discussion. I'm down to take your boy.
Cinnamon, really? At 12?
I think it's probably a tad early. I think you probably do want to trade back, but I know that guy's really good and he plays defense. As much as I love my son, Makai, I don't know if I want to necessarily do that here. I'm not a Sadiq guy. The Southern lawyer, our guy, Monroe Freeland.
Yeah, someone needs to take Monroe Freeland.
Someone needs to go for Monroe.
Someone needs a law firm.
Although 2 tackles are off the board here.
Two are.
I think this is an interesting thing. I think for the Cowboys to feel good about what's there at 12, I think you need 3 tackles going before you.
Probably.
I don't think 3 tackles are going before you.
That's tough. I mean,
I think
2 of them are right
Malgo
tackles, and it's...
Malgo will be gone. Malgo is really good. I think there are enough teams to worry about if Fano's actually a tackle to do this, which is why I think Freeling is leapfrogging him.
Yeah.
You get all 3 off the board? I don't know, brother. So if we're staying, I vote. I'm fine to go Thieneman.
Okay. I'm fine with it.
I know you're fine with it.
I'm fine with it. I don't love it.
No, not here. The ideal would be to go back, but again, we're gonna run it straight the first time.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe we'll do one of these a week afterwards.
Let's do it. Crank it up.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Let's see what happened after us. Monroe Freeling, Southern lawyer, went pick 13. Ione, the guard from Vega. CJ Allen, 15 overall.
That's juicy.
Damn. Jermod McCoy, 16. Makai Lemon is paired up with his brother Amon-Ra St. Brown with the Lions. That's
very
cute.
Fascinating.
Jordan Tyson goes to the Vikings, and Kenyon Sadiq to the Panthers. We are now at pick 20. 20 it's always a little bit simpler, always a little bit easier.
And here's why it's kind of a bummer in some ways, because you look at this board and you're just like, man, I wouldn't mind McNeil Warren at 20 and
but
something else. You can't tell you that with Dylan Thieneman.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, man.
You can make a case. Make a case for a guy.
It's probably Akeem Mesidor.
I think it has to be Mesidor.
I think it's Akeem Mesidor.
The only one I would make an argument for is Avion Terrell.
Yeah, and I'm not against that per se. I just feel like I think Akeem Mesidor may not be here for a long time, but he's going to be here for a good time.
Yeah.
He's going to do things off the edge. I know that guy is very good. You could sell me on Terrell. You cannot sell me on Keldrick Falk. I am one of the many people. I like to think I was early to the party on Omar Cooper. I was in an Omar Cooper like before the playoff. Okay. And now everybody's in an Omar Cooper, and I'm like, oh, where were y'all?
Yeah.
Where were y'all when you were hyping up freaking Malachi Fields, the 6-year senior?
Why'd y'all just get here?
Yeah. But obviously that's not a need. If I'm not taking Makai Lemon at 12, I'm not taking Omar Cooper at 20. I'll tell you that much right now. So it's probably, and this is again where if we were trading,
I'd probably get a boatload of picks from the Cardinals.
I would probably want to know what I'm going back to do, because I this is the range for me, and this is why I'd be in favor of, if we do this again, trying to go up. I feel pretty fine with what I would get in the 30s relative to what I'm getting at 20 versus what I'm getting at 12 relative to 6. That's a big difference.
Yeah. In the 30s, honestly, like the sweet spot where I'm like, I like all these guys right here is like 35 to 50.
Sure.
Ends up being, and I don't know, they're not blue chips, but also no one at 12 is a blue chip to me. No, you know what I mean?
No.
So
give me the blue chip guy, and then I'll roll the dice and hope that, again, and this is a team that knows how to scout, that I will trust my scouting in the early to mid second. Yeah. Versus the mid to late first.
All right. I do think Mesidor is a cut above the rest of the guys here.
Yeah.
He's like the only one that I can convince myself is like a double-digit sack guy next year. So
yeah, I agree.
Zion Young is interesting, but it might be a little bit early. All right. F it.
Akeem.
F them picks. Akeem Mesidor.
Yep.
In the house. Now we got a long wait. All the way down to 92. Good God.
And here's another spot where it's like, this is a good safety draft. I watched a lot of Kamari Ramsey. Kamari Ramsey is a guy, now his skill set's a little more redundant with Jalen Thompson here, where I think he's a better downhill guy than he is a coverage guy. But that's a dude where it's like, you could do some fun things with Kamari Ramsey if you don't already have Dylan Thieneman coming in.
Yeah.
Right? And so so if we're sitting here going, you're watching, like, what are we learning from this exercise? It's that as much as we like Dylan Thieneman, maybe don't get Dylan Thieneman.
It's a deep position. Yeah, it's a deep position.
If Dylan Thieneman's there at 20, let's party.
That's why I've cooled on Thieneman. It has nothing to do with him.
It's just the board.
It has everything to do with what I can get at 92. It has everything to do with what I can get at 20 and feel better about it. Our friend Zach Wolchuk shouted out Jalen Farmer, the guard. I don't know if we need a guard.
No.
Kamari Ramsey. Kayron Crawford.
Don't need an
Garrett
lineman.
Nussmeier.
Yeah.
No, this gets pretty gross, man.
Yeah, I mean, Bell's a huge dude.
I'm going to make the case for either Bell or Malik Muhammad.
I was going to say Malik Muhammad's the name. That's the one that jumps out at me. You can't, to me, if you are not getting a corner somewhere in these first 3 picks, it's malpractice. Also, Markel Bell is a real interesting one in that, like, he's the size of a house.
He is.
And, like, I just wonder, 3rd-round tackles at that size, do I trust your feet? Do I trust your movement?
Yeah, he is officially 6'9", 345 pounds.
Yeah, man. I don't know, brother. Because that's even, at that size, that's not a swing tackle. Right?
No.
You can't convince me that you want that guy at left tackle. No. That's a pure right tackle. And to me, A, I'm not sure if they're quitting Terrence Steele. And B, if they're quitting Terrence Steele, it's probably to bump Tyler Guyton to right tackle.
Yeah.
So that's not the fit. To me, it's get Malik Muhammad, who's not a top drawer corner prospect, but has a lot of good, has a lot of tape, a lot of it good at a big program.
Well, and if you didn't just take Thieneman, Genesis Smith would be interesting.
Yeah, I know. Kamari Ramsey would have been interesting, right?
Just a center fielder out there. I haven't studied this guy yet, so I want to look him up. Jarshawn Barm. Okay. I don't know. That's fine. Whatever. I'll figure him out later. All right.
Zakee Wheatley's another guy people like.
The safeties are deep, dude.
Really, this is teaching me that, like, Dylan, you can't do safety at 12.
You can't.
You
absolutely
can't.
Do
it. Would not do this again.
Do
0 out of 10 stars.
Maybe at 20.
Maybe it's 20. Yeah, I think he's too good. I think he's too good a value at 20.
Yeah, but then you got to find another player you like at 12. That's what I'm saying. If we reverse this, you go back to 12.
This is why I'm sitting here going trade up to 6.
Yeah.
12 and 20 for 6 and something in the second round, or even like you could sell me on like a 3rd and a 5, or Anthony Lucas. You don't want that.
I want to look at Corleone. I can't remember how big he is. Okay, not
the Godfather.
I don't know if he's big enough for Christian Parker. Christian Parker likes them big boys.
Yeah, I mean, but again, like, we're not doing more interior line resources.
Yeah.
Malik Muhammad.
Right.
Let's keep it moving.
Malik Muhammad. Got him. All right. Bud Clark went 2 picks in front of us. That hurts.
That does hurt.
Trig, Crown Over, Anthony Lucas, Caleb Proctor, Carson Beck.
Oh, God, Carson Beck.
And a bunch of dudes that I actually like this guy a lot. I like Cage Casey.
Okay. You want Cage Casey or do you want your boy Trig? There's nothing between them intrigues me here. And I will say, I think this tight end draft is good. And I think you could get a tight end in the 5th round.
Later one. I want a later tight end.
Okay.
I can't take.
Tell me about Cage Casey.
Trig doesn't separate enough from the rest of the tight end group for me. Cage Casey. So this is very random. There was a new taco place over in West
already
Dallas.
Random. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a guy that's in there and I'm like, oh, that guy's here training with somebody. And I almost texted you to text Duke.
Yeah.
And there was a guy wearing Boise stuff. And it's a big dude.
Okay.
And it turned out to be the other Boise tackle that's going into the draft.
Okay.
And I was like looking him up as I'm sitting there, and I'm like, who is this? His dad's with him wearing all Boise'd out. I'm like, this has got to be a dude. And I look up, Boise tackle, 2026 draft, and I'm like, I immediately know it's not Cage Casey because of just, I can see colors.
Body type, yeah. And also
I can see colors. And I was like, who the F is Cage Casey? And so I start diving into who this guy is, who people are really into. But it was other tackle that I actually met that day, and I can't remember his name. I feel bad. But there's a lot of dudes in the draft. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Not all of them are at the taco joint that you're at.
Not all of them are at the taco joint I'm at, but Cage Casey can play a little bit.
What are his measurables?
Let's see. 6'5", 311, redshirt junior out of Boise State. A lot of starts. 27 games played, a ton of snaps, never missed time. 4 sacks allowed in 2 years.
Okay.
5 hurries allowed last year. Just overall grades out really solid.
Big grade and the best game he played all season, which is Notre Dame.
Yep.
I'd like to see that.
Yep. True pass sets, 80+ grade on that. He's just solid. He's a really solid. I don't know if he's
sign me up, man. Sign me up.
But I think he can play. I think he touches grass pretty often this year.
Okay. I'm in on that. You can sign me up for Cage Casey and we go tight end somewhere down the road.
I want my tight end later, which I've now committed to 2 offensive picks, which you're just gonna have to get over this, Cowboys fans.
Probably.
You got to take some defensive or some offensive
you
players.
Take good players. Like there are tight ends later on that I'm in.
All right, I'm gonna go Cage Casey.
I like
okay?
it. I'm okay.
All right. I think he's starting at one of the tackle spots for you like next year. So
all right. Let's see what we got.
All right. Another tackle, Le'Veon Moss, name I know. Jaden Ott, halfback out of Oklahoma.
Absolutely bombed after
He
transferring.
did. Diego Pons is a guy I've heard about. Boer Kirker. I think that's how you say his name. Watching enough Aggie games. Not my tight end that I want. Katron Allen.
Yeah, now we're to the guy.
Reardon.
Eli Reardon. Well, actually, the other guy, too, Ephesians Pricesock is interesting. Ephesians Pricesock is a very long corner. He's like 6'3", 6'4", boundary type corner.
Interesting.
But I trust quite a bit the Michael Taff.
I love Michael Taff.
Michael Taff is a dude.
I love Michael Taff.
But I'll make the Eli Reardon case here. That's a dude who I think Max Tixiano just really I talked about him the other week. Really good tight end analysis. Mm-hmm. Not afraid of going against the grain. And a lot of why it is he's a believer that basically this whole fad that we got right now with 12 personnel will stay a fad, and we're going to go back to 11 soon. Because a lot of these move tight ends aren't actually giving you more than what a slot receiver could do for you, and they can't really block. So Michael Trigg might not be that interested in a couple of years. And so his whole thing is like, you want to run 12 personnel, just get 2 wide tight ends, guys who are real tight ends.
Yeah.
And his number one tight end, because they asked him, was it Kenyon Sadiq? And he said no. Number one tight end is Eli Reardon.
Damn, okay.
His thing with Eli Reardon is that dude can really block. And that dude, he missed some time. He's been banged up. Yeah. But he's athletically, he can run the routes that he needs to. He comes from a program that churns out the tight ends. And also, his thing is Notre Dame doesn't scheme tight end touches. They don't push the easy button and give you some stuff to make it easy. Eli Stowers, who is a guy who doesn't block, but is a legitimately awesome receiver.
He was used as a slot receiver.
Right, he was. And they did a lot of stuff. He was the number one focal point of the offense. That's not Eli Reardon. But as a mid-round guy, this was like a Mitchell Evans last year. And he's a better prospect than Mitchell Evans. Mitchell Evans goes to Carolina. It's like, that dude is just a pro. He blocks. He could do some receiving stuff. And then he's probably taking Jatavian Sanders' job because of that. Yeah. Eli Reardon's a better prospect than that. He's a guy who, if we're sitting here going, he might not compliment Jake Ferguson, but the world in which he takes Jake Ferguson's job in 2 years?
Yeah.
Possible. So 5th round, yeah. I'm in on that, but you could sell me for sure on just doubling a corner and going for Pricesock. Because Pricesock is long, plays for big program.
Pricesock's pretty impressive.
Has pedigree, going back to high school as a 4-star recruit. I know this dude, he's a West Coast guy. Yeah. He has 6'4", 195. That is a throw him on your X receiver and party type dude. You can give me one of those. What's left of the tight end board? What else?
Tight end board. Well, there's the Cincinnati guy, which I don't give a crap about.
No, but I'm wondering.
The guy that I like later at tight ends.
Is Oscar Delp still around?
Delp is definitely still around.
I'm an Oscar Delp guy.
Are you can I interest you in Tanner
Koziol? Yeah, you can interest me in either one of those guys.
Let's get Tanner later.
Okay.
And take the corner
Get
here.
the corner. Get Ephesians.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, there you go. And
having a dude named Ephesians is pretty tight.
It absolutely is. And it's also, hey, if you're not going to go corner early, but you double it late, up your odds, sure, man. Why not? Maybe, listen, maybe this is Deshaun Wright who comes good on the Cowboys, because Deshaun Wright's on other teams now and has a career.
You're right.
So.
Yeah. All right. We're at 177. Getting into names there. I have no idea who these guys are.
Yeah, it's getting bleak. It's getting bleak. Go to what else do we got?
I need to understand what's wrong with this guy.
Okay.
Caden Curry.
I mean,
12 sacks last year. It seems pretty good.
Did he not play the run?
90.6
Apparently the run defense is good.
Yeah, I don't understand what's wrong with Caden Curry. I got to do some research and figure it out, because he pops up every time on this.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
why are you here?
Why is an Ohio State Buckeye in the 6th round?
Now, I mean, that defense was so gnarly in terms of the talent that, when you were the distant 5th best guy at most, you're going to eat.
But 600 snaps and 12 sacks is
I know, you can't suck and do that.
Pretty badass, dude. I mean, he's outside tackle. I don't understand. I keep taking him.
You want to take him? Take him.
I don't know enough about him. I don't want to falsely just rely on PFF grades. So let's go back to our tight end discussion.
Yeah, what's out there?
Cuevas, the Wyoming kid. Yeah. And I'll tell you why I like.
Daquan Wright is another one that Toscano's way into. He likes Daquan Wright a lot.
Okay.
So you could give me, if you want Tanner, give me Tanner. That's fine.
Tanner is my dude.
Why Tanner?
6'7".
He's not small.
250.
Okay.
94 target. I don't think people understand how U of H used him in the last 2 years. And I said Utah because the logo is so confusing. It looks exactly the fucking same as the Houston.
It really does.
Dude, as a tight end, as a big son of a bitch tight end, 6'7" dude, 94 targets last year.
Okay.
123 targets the year before.
Okay.
He's a beast, dude. And his athletic testing was, I think he had above like a 9.5 RAS for his size.
Which you need at tight end.
You have to have a tight end. He's a dude that I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? What is everybody not getting? If I could jump off this sheet, I would jump over to the combine results because I think he was almost. I think he was 10-8 on the broad.
Okay.
Which is absolutely just bananas for a 6'7" dude. Like,
yep.
Just absolutely apeshit stuff. If you get to 11, like you're going in the top 20, top 30.
Okay, man, you sold me. Let's go.
Tanner Koziel's gonna be a beast for somebody, and it's
why not be a beast for the Dallas Cowboys?
It's gonna piss me off.
Why not be a beast for the Dallas Cowboys?
All right, now we're getting into the back end of round 5.
Yeah, we're not going to spend too much time here.
Stuff's getting silly.
Yeah.
You're looking for like a running back that can contribute. Actually, like Pat Coogan. We definitely need a running back.
Definitely need a running back. I don't know what else.
Caden Curry's still there.
You can sell me on Caden Curry. Eli Heidenreich's a guy who's got a little hive.
Yeah, he does.
Going on.
He does, yeah.
Bishop Fitzgerald was a guy who actually had the better season than Kamari Ramsey at SC, but he's a pure interception merchant.
The other Styles, who's super fast.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put my foot in the ground on one. And Delp's still there, obviously. Delp just ran under a 4.5, so I don't know.
That feels like it's a little outdated.
Can I do the halfback?
Sure, man.
Can I do?
You could sell me on that.
Okay, let's get a running back in here to challenge for some time.
I was gonna say Desmond Reed was also a little interesting, but he might be too sub packagey.
Yeah,
that's a guy who's a really good receiver as a tailback, but like he's pint sized.
I don't know anything about Jamari Taylor, so I don't want to fake it and act like I know who.
But I think like it would not shock me if they bring another running back into that room because you have nothing proven behind Javonte. So sure, why not?
All right, and I promise if Caden Curry is the next pick, we'll take him.
We'll make him
the
Mr.
We're getting a halfback.
Okay,
we got one. We got him, folks. Daquan Wright's there. Delp, tight end.
All the guys we just been talking about.
Des Reed, got an SMU kid. Jack Kelly, who I actually do know a little bit about. He can play a little bit.
Monty Jackson was a big recruit who never made it.
And it's a bunch of randos. I think Harold Perkins might pop up here.
Really, what this is telling me is that you can wait super late on a tight end.
You can, dude.
Just like McCree's another guy who's good. I mean,
you know what? I'm going to do something crazy and take Cole Payton, developmental quarterback.
Yeah, why the hell not?
In the 7th round.
Analytically, he pops pretty well for this.
He does,
actually.
Yeah. All right, let's check out this draft. How'd we do?
Yeah, what are you giving us?
They didn't like we took Mesidor over Avian Terrell. They're really bitching about that one. But all right, here's the take, man. Oh, what did I do? I just did all kinds of bad stuff. There we go.
Okay.
How do I switch the board back to mine? There it is. Sorry, guys. There we go. Dylan Thinneman, 12 overall. Akeem Mesidor, 20. Malik Muhammad, 92.
Did not like the Tanner Koziel pick, but you know what? Too bad. It's our draft.
Yeah, They hate Tanner Koziel. I don't know why.
Bottom 20% of Cowboys drafts, they hate us because they ain't us. God. Okay.
Yeah. Didn't like it. I don't give a crap.
Yeah, too bad.
I like this draft, even though I didn't want to steer you away from Thinneman because I wanted that to play out. But every time, when you're sitting there and you're like, oh, Warren's here, and then you're at 92 and you're like, oh,
lots of them.
Amari Ramsey's here.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Yeah, safety is not going to go 12.
No, and I think and it also makes me even wonder. Caleb Downs is so special. If you get to 6, you take him.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also part of me. It's like, do you go to 6? You take Sonny Styles, who is a freakazoid.
Yeah,
and then even if it's not Caleb Downs, who everybody loves Caleb Downs, but you're getting a safety for adding another pick in the 2-3 range, and you're in great safety territory when you already that's the one impact player you added was a safety.
Yeah,
maybe you're going to 6. It's not for Caleb Downs. It's for Sonny Styles.
Yeah. I'm also fine getting up to 9 and seeing if Ruben Bain's there.
9 at least yields you one of the edge rushers or one of the Ohio State guys or Delane.
Yeah.
Like you can't
That's
get to 9.
That's the sweet spot to me.
Yeah.
The last call.
You can't get to 9 and not end up with a very good defensive player.
I would love to get to 9, say, hey, Chiefs, I know you don't love anybody right here. Why don't you drop back to 12? We'll swap some picks later. I'll get back in that 35, wherever the Chiefs pick is, range back there. And I'm going to take Bain. And then I'm going to take either Jacob Rodriguez or one of the safeties back there later. Because that, honestly, whenever you start doing 2v2s and 3v3s of who the first 3 picks in your draft are versus who you could have gotten if you just did positional switch, safety at 12 is tough, dude.
Can't do it.
It's super tough.
This is
I hate it. I hate it that you can't. I would have much rather have signed a big badass linebacker and been able to take them at 12 or sign a big badass edge.
But that requires effort, and they're not into that.
No,
so,
it's not.
All right, we spent enough time on this.
Yeah,
but the
that was fun.
That was fun. Maybe we'll do it again before the draft. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good time.
All right, we'll talk to Zach.
Let's talk to Zach. Let's see what Zach thinks about some of these dudes. Are any of his guys? Are any of our guys his guys? You're gonna have to watch and find out. Joining us now, you know him and you love him from his work on the Fan with G-Bag Nation. You know him and you love him from his work on the Cowboys draft with Crown Global Media. Zach Wolchuk, our new friend. What's going on, dude?
What's up, fellas? It's an honor and a privilege to be on with you. Go me.
Indeed. Indeed. Awesome, man. Very happy you could join us today for a multitude of reasons. I've been listening to you on the Stack all season, and baseball kind of snuck up on me. We needed somebody to fill in the gaps there, so appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime. I've been a fan of y'all's work for a while, so it's an honor to jump in. It is wild. The winter went by fast. It's like all of a sudden, boom, here's opening day.
Yes.
No doubt, man. Well, speaking of those Rangers, I think we've been a little depressed that they haven't, pushed the gas a little bit more during the offseason. Specifically adding offense or choosing not to in a significant way outside of the Marcus Semien, Brandon Nimmo trade. Where are you sitting with this thing? How are you feeling about the roster as we head into the true test of opening day?
Yeah, I think offensively, I think the approach is going to be more so the biggest factor. Are you able to generate walks? Do you have plate discipline? Are you able to see more pitches, right? Can you work high pitch counts when it comes to certain innings and not give a pitcher maybe you're about to get them out, their pitch count's high, and then all of a sudden here you go, here's an easy 6-pitch inning to get out of it, and they can extend their start when you're about to get into the bullpen. So overall, I think that there's still massive questions about how this offense is going to perform. I'm excited about a Jake Burger bounce back season potentially. He's looked great this spring. He ended the season strong. He's got a good relationship with Skip Schumacher going back to 2023 when they were together in Miami. But I agree with you. I think Chris Young would have really liked to have been a little bit more aggressive. I think that he kind of went with the finances that he was given, and I think that did probably cause somewhat of some back and forth between him and ownership. But I think from the ownership perspective, it's like, hey, I've seen payrolls that are less expensive than us have more success. So why am I going to continue to invest in this when the last 2 years we haven't had the winning product that we expected? So you're going to need a lot of growth from within. I mean, can you finally get a healthy season from Evan Carter, from Josh Young? Those are going to be huge, but I do think the additions of Brandon Nimmo and then Danny Jansen as a catcher, when you look at those offensive upgrades over Marcus Semien and Jonah Heim, that should help this team be able to put out a better offensive product on the field. And look, this pitching rotation should be amongst the best in Major League Baseball. So if that can continue, you don't have to have an elite offense. Can you just find a way to put up 5 runs a game?
Well, let's talk about that offense, though. All right, I think there's a third of this we know, right? We know Corey Seager, very good at baseball. Wyatt Langford, I think we're all really hyped about the Wyatt Langford experience. Brandon Nimmo, at worst, has a high floor. I've always been a Nimmo guy. I think maybe there's a tiny bit of bounce back left there. After that, there are question marks. Who is the next dude in your mind that you think could jump up a notch and help those three? Is it Berger or is it one of the other names you mentioned?
Yeah, I think it is Berger for me. That would be my pick. But otherwise, I think, can you find a way, and this is tough, it's tough to go ahead and bet on a guy that I think is 39 years old, but Andrew McCutchen has really been exciting. He really is. And
vibes are great. He's always great with the vibes.
Yes, he is. He's a leader, and they needed that, right? We heard like the clubhouse vibes might not have been that great last year when you had maybe your 2 best players not loving each other, and some of the stuff that was said, by a Kevin Pillar, maybe there was some accuracy to that when he left. So I think that you need the vibes to be immaculate, to turn a phrase there with Andrew McCutchen. I think that he will be able to come in, and I think that he's going to be super important when it comes to hitting against lefties, platooning with a guy like Jock Peterson. Like, to answer your question, Jock Peterson should be the guy. That's what they paid him to do. That's who they need to step up and be that player to provide that offense, because defensively, what's he on the team to do, right? It's all about being able to score runs. So Jock Peterson needs to do that. I'm just not going to bet on it. It's weird. I'd rather bet on an Andrew McCutchen to come in and give you that type of performance right now than I would Jock Peterson. But we got to be hopeful that you get the bounce back. Otherwise, when you look at this, I think that Berger would be the one that I feel most confident about. But can you also just get Corey Seager to stay healthy? Like, what's he missing? 60 games a year since he's been a Texas Ranger. So if you're able to finally get a Corey Seager to play 130 to 140 games for you, that should be able to organically help in itself.
Yeah, yeah. We've talked about the lineup. We have talked about the rotation. There's a third element of this, which is the bullpen. And every year I sit here and I say, maybe this is the year that there will be actual investment in the back end. And every year we are here sitting here talking about, well, Robert Garcia is pretty good, and maybe Chris Martin doesn't break down in his late 30s, and I don't know what else is going on. Help me out here, Zach. How many of these dudes do you feel good about? What is this mix that you expect could happen, and what's really the ceiling of this whole deal here at this point when they're just not terribly interested in pouring resources into that area, for better or for worse?
Yeah, it's like we just believe that, okay, we'll be able to make this work over the course of the season.
Yeah.
At the trade deadline, you'll be able to go and get your guy. I don't know what it is, but to me, that's a massive concern. I do believe in Jalen Beeks. I think that he was a good late addition. And I like Tyler Alexander quite a bit. And he's coming home. He talked with us during spring training. He almost was a Ranger a year ago, South Lake Carroll product. I think Tyler Alexander is a guy that can fit into a multitude of different roles. But who's your closer? Like Chris Martin, I was a little bit surprised they re-signed him. Guy's wearing a back brace inside the clubhouse. Like, I feel like that bat could go out at any moment. I do love Jacob Latz. I think he gives you so much versatility, being able to go long relief. Maybe he's a piggyback guy with Kamar Rocker. But overall, I it's not good to say I don't have an answer, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to be your closer. I thought Cole Winn was really good for you last year. Is he a guy that I'm excited about? Absolutely. But after that, I don't know if Robert Garcia is going to end up being the closer for you. You know, Jacob Eunice, is he the guy that's going to be able to do it? I don't know. So Carter Baumler, the rookie, what an amazing moment it was for him.
Yep.
On Monday night. He finds out he makes the team. He gets that great moment. You've got Skip going out there telling him this. He's like, I don't know. I just threw a bad pitch. Am I about to be told you're yanked and I'm going back to the minor leagues? But I can't say with confidence. I don't think they've got their closer, guys. I really don't. I think this is going to end up being, if this team's competing, that's the aggressive move that you need to go and make at the trade deadline, and you need to get a surefire closer. But then again, when you win the World Series in 2023, you're relying on Josh Sborz and Jose Leclerc. And if we were to poll Ranger fans then, would we have any faith that they'd be able to get the job done?
Sure.
The answer would have been no, and they found a way. So maybe they do believe that this is something that they can just navigate and it'll work out. But to me, that's the biggest question going into the season.
Yeah.
We're pretty hyped on Mackenzie Gore and that addition and his ability to take the next step potentially and see what the Rangers can do with his pitch mix and develop him a little bit to hopefully be that link, or maybe at some point he's not even a link. He's just part of that DeGrom Evaldi tier. Do you see him as in that group, or do you see him as the bottom three down there with Leiter and Rocker being the bridge, or is somebody else going to step into that number 3 starter role? Can Jack Leiter jump over him in the rotation? What are your expectations for Mackenzie Gore?
Yeah, I think Gore is going to end up being closer to DeGrom and Evaldi than he is, say, Rocker. Now, Leiter, I think, is going to even take another step. I mean, he's had a tremendous spring, and everybody feels to be very, very excited about what he's going to be able to do. But Mackenzie Gore, I think his big issue, and you looked at, he was an all-star in the first half of last season. Second half of the season, things got wonky, but he's playing on one of the worst defensive teams in all of Major League Baseball in the Nats. You're on now one of the best. I mean, it was the best defensive team last year. I don't think that's going to drop off a ton. I know there's concern you lose Adolis Garcia and Marcus Semien. Those are two really good defensive players. But I think Brandon Nimmo is a plus defender, and I think they'll be okay. I believe in Josh Smith and his ability, especially defensively, to be able to slide in and get comfortable at second base. And then Ezekiel Duran as a utility guy, I also think is very good defensively. So I think all of that is going to really reward Mackenzie Gore. Certain outs that he probably should have received that he didn't, he will get in Texas that he didn't get in Washington. So I think having a better defense for him to pitch in front of, I think Mackenzie Gore has an opportunity. I mean, if he ends up hitting his heights of what he could do, you're talking about a player that should be at some point in the Cy Young conversation during his time as a Ranger. So I think he's going to be flirting with, hey, DeGrom and Evaldi, excuse me. And if you lose one of those guys due to injury, you feel really good about Mackenzie Gore's role being able to step up. And then the health of guys like Bradford and Jordan Montgomery and getting them back when it comes to closer to the All-Star break. I mean, Cody Bradford's been one of these guys that I've absolutely loved, how he's been able to attack hitters, without even having really high leverage stuff,
Right.
being able to throw super hard. It's all about that arm extensions, what they keep telling us about. But Cody Bradford's a fun pitcher to watch. So the Rangers have reinforcements if indeed you do have to have an IL stint. But I'm super pumped about Mackenzie Gore, man. I'm with you on that.
It's hard to replace Bruce Bochy, right? You're talking about one of the best dudes to ever do it, the best dude to ever do it here. They got probably as good a candidate as you could get in Skip Schumacher. That said, there is a gap between what Bruce Bochy worked with and what his resume is, even down to Schumacher, who had a lot of success in Miami. What is your expectation of him in year one? And what should the expectation be? Because it can't be Bruce Bochy.
I think he's going to have a shorter leash than what Bruce did. Like, Boch was one of these guys. Hey, I want a World Series with them. You know, I'm gonna keep. If they're struggling, you know, we're gonna find a way to work. I don't think Skip's gonna be giving these guys like Jock Peterson. What do you have, a month to show that you can do this before you're going to look for somebody else to fill that role? I think Skip's going to be a little bit more performance-based, aligned with what CY is, right? CY, who jumps on with us every single Monday during the season, he's always saying it's a performance-based league. And if you're not doing what you need to do, we're going to find somebody else to do it. And I think Skip's going to fall in line with that. The other thing is he is big on, it sounds like, wanting to make sure everybody is getting playing time. He's not going to pinch hit for a player that's been sitting out for a week. So he's going to find ways to get some of your utility players, whether it's Ezekiel Duran and others, whether it's McCutchen, Sam Haggerty, getting these guys at bats. Maybe it's late in the game, defensive substitutions, whatever it is, getting them in so they're having a feel like, okay, we're part of the team, other than, okay, just an injury replacement, or I need to get a guy off his feet. So I think you're going to see Skip Schumacher, whereas Boch might have let guys kind of work out of some funks. I don't think Skip's going to allow people to have that amount of time to really kind of work out of the kinks.
Can't have Zach on and not talk about the Dallas Cowboys and the Cowboys draft. What are we, a month out right now?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the ideas of the 12th overall pick, man? I'm getting a little nervous because I think everyone's realizing who the good players are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a little bit petrified. We actually just ran a mock draft simulator on the stack, and we were sitting there at 12, and we're talking about, okay, New Orleans is on the clock at 8. Mansour Delane, the corner from LSU's there. Ruben Bain Jr., the edge from Miami's there. Do you need to move up to ensure you're going to be able to get one of these guys, or else are we going to be looking at each other like, are we about to take an offensive player or massively reach for a guy at 12? So I think the Cowboys are going to end up having to move up if they want to ensure they're going to get that guy. Because if they're not taking Jermon McCoy, the corner out of Tennessee, who's coming off an ACL injury, and there's so much PTSD for Cowboy fans when it comes to taking the hurt guys, and they're saying, we're not doing that this year, then you've now hurt yourself. That's one player you're removing from this conversation. So the teams ahead of you, Kansas City, just lost 2 corners. They could take a defensive player. You've got Cincinnati, who is also one of the worst defenses historically in NFL history. Probably
Cowboys North.
Defense.
Yeah, Cowboys North.
Yep. And then Miami. I don't know what the hell Miami's going to do. Could Miami take Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end from Oregon? Yeah, they could. Or they could also take maybe one of the players that you're looking at right ahead of you. So the closer we get to this, if you want to ensure that you're going to get your player, unless you want to move back, and you've got to have a player on the board that a team wants to move up for. Could that be Ty Simpson, the quarterback from Alabama? We could hope. Could that be one of these wide receivers or an offensive tackle like Spencer Fano from Utah? Maybe. But I think at 12, there is a very real chance that all your premium defensive players are not there. And now you're going to have a conversation. Is it an offensive tackle? Is it a wide receiver like Mekhi Lemon from USC? If Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame, was there, maybe. I mean, he's probably going to be the best player on your board. Do you take him? Fans are going to say, hell no, you don't take him. But you get in trouble when you start reaching for other players and you don't just take the best player available, like the CeeDee Lamb draft, for instance. If they had taken K'Lavon Chason, who has been a bust his entire career until this year, he finally found a home in New England. Yeah, that's not going to be one that worked out for you. But you took CeeDee Lamb, you didn't need him at the time, and now he's one of your best players, period, on the football team. So I'm with you. I'm nervous. I think you're going to have to move up to 6 at Cleveland or at 8 to New Orleans to ensure you get your dude.
let's say that happens, right? You get wiped out defensively. I know we spent so much time, and you have as well, on these defensive guys and the positions and where they would fit for us. But say you get wiped out, who to you, I'll leave Jeremiah Love in there, even though I don't think it's super realistic. Who's the yippee-ki-yay, F it, this is going to be so much fun offensive player that you would slide in there at 12?
Oh, man. It is Mekhi Lemon, the wide receiver from USC.
Yeah, buddy.
I love him. I do. To me, he's the best receiver in the draft. I know he might have scared some people with how he looked at the combine.
That's just Mekhi, man. I'm a USC Trojan. I was ready for this stuff. I knew it was coming.
Okay. So he's a quirky dude then.
Yeah. This is a guy, I said this on the show last week. This is a guy after he lit up Iowa. I know you've seen that tape. The tape is ridiculous. And Kirk Ferentz says about him, that was one of the best performances a receiver's ever had against us. They asked him the next week of practice, the media did, Mekhi, what do you think about that? And this man said, I don't know what that has to do with me. So, not really here for the talking, but
yeah,
he's here for everything else.
He is. And he is a dude that plays big. To me, he's very reminiscent of Jackson Smith and Jigba, Rockwall's own, who just got paid to be the new wide receiver king when it comes to money. I think he has a lot of similarities. He can dominate out of the slot. He can play outside. He goes up and makes contested catches. He's really good after the catch. He creates natural separation. He can block. He's super tough. I love Mekhi Lemon. I think he fits the mold of the modern NFL when the wide receivers are kind of starting to get shorter, which is why you're starting to see now the cornerback. He used to be, I'm not taking a 5'10" corner. Now the guys like D'Angelo Pons out of Indiana, they're going to be taken a lot higher than they typically would have, and they should, because Pons' tape is freaking badass. So, to me, I'm all about the renaissance of the tiny DB. I'm trying to champion for the tiny DB, but it's because of the Mekhi Lemons of the world. That would be a yippee-ki-yay, let's go, this is going to be a lot of fun. Is it a need for the Cowboys? No, not at all. But who knows about the future about George Pickens? Is he going to be on the team past this year? I don't know. So you might end up needing a wide receiver in the future.
Let's take these first, let's say 3-4 picks right now. They got a little more ammo after the Osa trade. What's the realistic best case scenario? Because they can't fill every need they've got. They just didn't do enough work in free agency and on the trade market so far. What's the best realistic scenario for you walking out of that where you're going, okay, this went about as well as it could given the hole they put themselves in?
Okay, so I'd probably say Mansour Delane finds a way to get to you at 12, the cornerback from LSU. And then you can come away with a corner you feel really good about. You think he's one of the best in the draft. And then at 20, to me, I think it's Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker out of Texas Tech. And there's probably a lot of people that are sick of me talking about Jacob Rodriguez. I've been on him as a first-round player since November, and people were like, what the hell are you smoking? He's played himself with his testing and answered a lot of doubts. To me, I think he's the second best linebacker in the draft behind Sonny Styles. So if I can get a corner and I can get my new starting Mike linebacker, which I think Rodriguez would do at 20, and then say at pick 92 in the third round, can I get a Malachi Lawrence, the edge from UCF? That's my dream. Those would be 3 players. That's a home run. I don't know that Lawrence would get there. Maybe it's Romello Height from Texas Tech. That's 2 Red Raiders. I did marry into a Red Raider.
Yeah, you're repping the brand right now,
got the guns up.
I know. Maybe I'm too much so with the Texas Tech. Or it's a safety, Bud Clark, keeping it local from TCU. Mm-hmm. Love his game and what he can do.
Yeah,
VJ Payne's a safety from Kansas State. That's a super big body. People want to go get their next Nick Emenwari. He's also a 6'2" guy, has some versatility. So, if I can check those boxes, now everyone's like, okay, where's the edge? Well, I think post-draft is when you circle back and you get back in on the Max Crosby conversation. Mm. I think that's a post-draft move, and you look at mortgaging future picks next year to get back into Crosby, which is supposed to be a better draft class is what I'm hearing.
It's always a better class next year. We hear it every single year. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
But that's what they did with Pickens. They wanted Tedrow McMillan last year. He didn't fall. They circled back with Pittsburgh. They traded 3 to get Pickens. Can you do that this year? If you don't come away with your edge at 12, 20, or at 92, and in this scenario, I'm going corner, linebacker, safety, so I didn't, that's when maybe you circle back and you go and get a Max Crosby.
You mentioned it a minute ago, but what I've been thinking about over the last week or two are those sneaky needs that people aren't necessarily realizing. Whenever we started talking about Jeremiah Love a couple weeks ago, I was like, wow, Javante's deal really isn't that long, and he could, be replaced pretty quickly by a running back. So I'm thinking of, running back tight end to me is a position where I'm like, I could see a tight end pop up on draft night, not necessarily first round, right? Not necessarily 12 or 20, but that third round pick when everyone's going more defense, and then boom, like another tackle pops up. What are the positions you'd say people aren't talking about enough that could get slid in there at the third or fourth round?
I think you nailed it with tight ends. They're doing work on tight ends, and that's one where I think they like Jake Ferguson and they like Brevin Spann-Ford. But this is a tight end class that stretches. I mean, could you go for Eli Stowers, who's a local product from Denton Guyer, who is at Vandy? If he's there in the third round, is that a player you're going to look at? They worked out. Lunda Wells was there for Michael Trigg at Baylor for his pro day. I love Michael Trigg's tape. I think if Michael Trigg wants it, that's a dude who could be really, really special. Kind of has like an Antonio Gates type skill set, in my opinion.
Just ignore that vertical leap that he put up the other day. That cool 29 inches or whatever it ended up being.
Again, that's the issue, right? That's some of the stuff I've heard from feedback at Baylor is sometimes he's really engaged and he's getting after it. And other times it's like, do I want to show up today? And that's a problem, right? I can't teach a guy necessarily to always be locked in and have that want to. And that's the thing with being like a media scout. You're not privy to that information.
Right.
Like, I don't know which one. I can try and do my best assessment and look back at, different interviews, but I don't know like what makes these guys tick. How are they individually? Where's the fire burning in the belly? How much do they love football? I'm just going based on watching the tape here. So those are things that these teams will know that we don't. But I think tight end is absolutely one of those. I think the other one still, to me, is tackle. Your offensive tackle, and I wouldn't have an issue at 12 if a Francis Malinois were there from Miami or Spencer Fano from Utah. I'd consider that because I don't know what the future looks like for Tyler Guyton. This is a huge year. And Terrence Steele, people have been trying to cut for 3 years. So you can look and say that offensive line's okay, but all of a sudden, if you want to move Tyler Smith to tackle, well, who's your guard? If you want to maybe keep Tyler Smith at guard, which I think the Cowboys want to do, what do you do if neither of these tackles hit? And do you believe in Nate Thomas? They might, but Nate Thomas was pretty rocky last year. So tight end and offensive line are actually probably spots that we should be talking about a little bit more.
Let's go rapid fire and we'll get you out of here. It's game 7 of the ALCS. It's been a great Ranger year. It's exceeded all our expectations. They're trying to get back to the World Series. Who are you giving the ball to, Eovaldi or DeGrom?
Eovaldi.
Oh, no hesitation.
No, Evo's that dude, man. Evo in a clutch game, big situation. We've seen him dance the fire, man. He has found a way to get out of tremendous danger against Houston in that series and the ALCS. Runners get on base, he gets better. And I get DeGrom might be the overall better pitcher. Evo in a big postseason game like that, he's my guy.
I'm going to throw a wild card in there just because I listen to your show and I hear you talk so positively about a lot of guys. I want to hear which guy in the draft Zach just doesn't get. Like the group think is just, hey, this guy's top 20, and you're like, man, I don't understand what everyone's talking about.
It's TJ Parker, the edge out of Clemson. Okay. And TJ Parker, this is the problem. Like, if he ends up being a Cowboy, then it's like, crap. Now I'm in it, right? I've talked about how I don't necessarily love him. I've got a third-round grade on him. I could be absolutely crazy. I just don't love the kind of players where it's like, okay, we'll go back and watch 2024. And I get it. Clemson's defense was down in general last year, and it's the same with Peter Woods, his teammate, who also is probably going to be a first-rounder. But TJ Parker, there's plays where, boom, you see it, and there's other plays I'm like, oh, what are you really doing here? So I don't get the TJ Parker hype and love, and I know he was okay at the Senior Bowl. He came into the year as a top 10 pick. TJ Parker, for me, if he ends up being a Dallas Cowboy or wherever he goes, it's kind of like Shamar Stewart was that guy for me last year from A&M. I didn't really get it. TJ Parker is probably the most polarizing player for me. I just can't wrap my head around what is he? Is he a first-round guy or is he just a guy? And is he going to be in and out of the league in 3 years?
We'll go back to some trademark Zach positivity here. Who's your pet cat other than our guy Mekhi Lemon
or J-Rod? He loves J-Rod.
Or J-Rod. Yeah,
you love J-Rod. It's Malachi Lawrence, the edge from Central Florida. I love him. I think Malachi Lawrence is a guy at 20 that I would be considering. Wow. I mean, I've got Akeem Mesidor, and then it's Malachi Lawrence. I've got him ahead of Cassius Howell from A&M. I've got him ahead of our Mason Thomas from Oklahoma. I absolutely love Malachi Lawrence. Other than him, it's probably Bud Clark from TCU. I'm a big Bud Clark fan. I think if you can't get Caleb Downs, Bud Clark can do a lot of those similar things when you're looking for a guy that can cover the nickel, can play single high, two high, can come up, support the run. Big fan of his. And then I'll just throw out a guard, Jalen Farmer out of Kentucky. I loved me some Cooper Beebe. Why? Because he dirts people. He's physical. He's mean. He's a people mover. Jalen Farmer is that kind of guy. He will absolutely drive you off the football 5 yards, pancake you, put you down on the ground and let you know about it. Those are my kind of offensive linemen.
Over under 2.5 All-Stars for the Rangers.
Under.
Oh, no.
I think two.
Okay.
And maybe it would be over. Maybe you're looking at a Seager, DeGrom, Evaldi. But I don't know. It's weird. Like, they do weird stuff with the pitchers. And I just think right now, I don't want to. I ran into the problem last year. I overrated them. I thought this team was going to go to the World Series and win the American League. So now I'm trying to temper expectations so that my heart doesn't quite get as broken.
That's healthy. That is personal growth right there.
Thank you.
Angriest you have ever been at a draft pick the Cowboys have made on draft day?
Taco Charlton. I wanted TJ Watt real bad.
You were right.
Same.
Yeah. I think most people did. Most people were like, "What the hell are the Cowboys doing?" Yeah, it's Taco. It was the Taco Charlton pick. I was like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And I was working at the radio station, but I was just pulling Ranger highlights and working weekend overnights and all that stuff. I wasn't quite plugged in with the draft stuff then, but it's the Taco pick. I don't think anybody understood that one.
Yep. All right, final one. I'm giving you 100 sports bucks. Zach, you got to place bets on who is going to be the 12th overall pick and who's going to be the 20th overall pick.
Ooh, this is a great question. Okay, at 12, I'm just going to hope he's there, and I'm going to say it's Mansour Delane. I'm going to put a bet there. At 20, Keldrick Falk, the edge out of Auburn. I think the Cowboys really like him. I think he fits a lot of things that yeah, and he's similar to the TJ Parker conversation to me. I like Keldrick Falk more, but Falk's one of those guys where I'm like, ooh, that's an iffy one. But I think there's a lot of love for the Cowboys there. So I'll go Falk at 20 and Delane at 12.
I can stomach a lot if they get Delane at 12. You can do a lot of things
Right.
at 20, and I'm going to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Zach, you've been awesome. Tell the good people where to find you.
You can follow me at Zach Wolchuk, all social media platforms, X, Facebook, Insta.
That one wasn't taken.
No, it wasn't. G-Bag Nation 2 to 7 Monday through Friday on the Fan, and then on the Stat, Crown Global Media on YouTube. So I think I covered it all.
I think you did, man. Thank you for hopping in with us. We hope to have you back sometime in the future.
Anytime. I appreciated it, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks, brother. Welcome back to StrongSide, episode 20. Thank you so much to Zach Wolchuk for hanging out with us and answering all our silly draft questions and getting us a tiny bit hype for the Rangers season as it gets underway.
I feel a little better now.
Yeah, let's continue our exercise from last week entitled Freaky Friday. I assume that's what happens in these movies. I haven't seen them, but
Are you not familiar with Lindsay Lohan's finest work?
I get.
Or are you more of a Parent Trap guy? Machine?
You haven't seen Parent Trap, friend.
Yeah,
Come on.
Are you more of a Parent Trap?
Come on, now the
dude?
acting, like 2 roles. How do you even do that? Right?
Listen, I don't know why she didn't get Best Actress like Michael B. Jordan got.
Exactly. I'm
she was
saying,
ahead of her time.
I've been saying for years.
Yeah.
But I assume they swapped bodies or something. So what we did last week was Cowboys and Mavericks. Who's the Cowboys of the NBA, and then who the Mavericks of the NFL were, right? We still have 2 teams left in the Metroplex. We have the Rangers, who are going to be compared to a hockey team now.
Yes.
And the Stars are going to be compared to a baseball team.
Yep.
You could tell me any hockey team on the Rangers one, and I just go, yep.
Yeah.
Because I only watch the Stars.
Yeah. Okay.
I have no idea, but go. Fire off.
Which one am I doing first?
Give me who the stars of Major League Baseball are.
Okay, so this is a little tricky, right? When I think about the Dallas Stars, I think of excellent organization in terms of what they're doing, right? They're one of those teams that you look at and you say, the brain trust is on it. Jim Nill, great at what he does. So you can't have any of the dumb teams. You got to have somebody real smart around.
Okay.
You also can't be too successful because they've only won one cup, and it's been a minute. So you're not looking at these dynastic teams, right? And it's also a team that it's weird because baseball doesn't have a salary cap and hockey does. So you can't really do the Dodgers because the Dodgers are smart, but they also flex a ton of spending, and they've won multiple World Series recently. It's not even really a current team in some ways because the Dodgers wrecked the curve. So I'm going back a little bit in time the way you did with the Mavericks. And I think the answer is the St. Louis Cardinals from about 5 years ago. Because the Cardinals from 2000 through 2022 were consistently very good. They were always, if they weren't winning the NL Central, they were always in a wild card hunt. They were always in the mix. They were always competitive. They weren't necessarily winning it all. They won 2 World Series in that span, one more than what the Stars did, but they're always competitive. But they were known for being really sharp, for being the sort of team that knew how to develop internally. And that's very much the Stars, right? A lot of this core, these really good players are not premium draft picks. They're dudes that got elevated 2-3 notches because they knew what was coming. And if you're a baseball fan, you remember the phrase Cardinal Devil Magic of just who is this random freaking guy, usually some random white guy.
David Freese,
but I mean, there's a long list of them. All the way to the ultimate example being Albert Pujols, a guy who was not a thing and then became one of the great players of all time. But that was where they were built, was finding smart edges. Well, look at what the Stars are made of, right? Jason Robertson, not a top 10 pick. Jake Ottinger, Wyatt Johnston. Logan Stankoven becomes a guy that they flip for that sort of thing. So you have a bunch of guys who, Thomas Harley, another one. Miro Heiskanen was the one really big-time prospect. A lot of the rest of them, Rope Hintz, not a household name as a prospect. Dudes that they've taken and they've molded and they've homegrown a lot of this operation to something that's consistently very, very successful in a market that, St. Louis isn't the biggest market. Dallas is not the biggest hockey market. But the other thing that they would do is St. Louis would be opportunistic because they would find these gems, and then when they needed to make a big score, they'd do it. Bringing in a Nolan Arenado, bringing in a Paul Goldschmidt, bringing in a Jim Edmonds. They would make big moves if they had to make a move to augment the homegrown stuff. What do the Stars do? Rantanen, the big the big superstar that you brought in addition to a bunch of other smaller moves. And so the upshot is they're not winning all the time, but they're in the mix every year. They're going to come away with some championships because they're too smart and they're too well run not to. So that's my comp. Where are you at with this? You buy that one?
No, I'm into that one. I think that's pretty solid. It's hard right now to remember those Cardinals.
It's been a few years
because when it runs out.
It ran out.
Yeah, whenever you
the tank
stop,
went bone dry.
Yeah. It ran out really stinking quick, and they're kind of like a joke at this point. But they'll get back there, I assume. I don't know if they've had a flip over of.
They've had some management changes, but that run of being really good was almost 25 years.
Yeah,
and the Stars have not been bad very often in the last.
Yeah, and the Cardinals always operated as if they were like a Boston or an LA or a New York, where it was just like. They would go sign the big name dude and they would trade for the dude. And it kind of feels like the Stars, except the Stars are a way bigger market than St. Louis. Right?
They are, but it's also hockey. And so, it's a weird fit, but it's the one that I think makes the most sense overall. So, all right, you ready?
I liked it. I'll buy that one.
All right, you ready
this
for
one's
this?
Going to get weird. Yeah.
I was so excited about this. I sat there and I was just like noodling, and then it freaking hit me. The Texas Rangers are the Los Angeles Kings.
Oh, no.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to give you some LA Kings history for you, Mike.
Teach me about the Kings besides Alexei Kopitar. I know him.
Andre Kopitar.
Andre Kopitar. I met him. I feel bad.
You met Kopi?
Yeah. He's Slovenian, right?
He is.
And,
he's talking Luka? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that all tracks. So Kings history. Kings come into the NHL in 1967. They don't win a cup until 2011. They're around for almost 50 years, the way that the Texas Rangers are around 50 years. And so this isn't some expansion team that hit the jackpot 10 years. There was a lot of earned pain going on.
I think I know where you're going, and I think I like it.
Okay. Before they win this cup, what is the big moment that gets them on the
Gretzky.
map? It's Wayne Gretzky, the greatest player in history, gets moved where? The LA Kings?
Where do they play?
Right. Now, if you are a Ranger fan of a certain age like we are, which is to say 90s kids, grew up with this team, what was the big defining move that the Rangers made?
Rodriguez.
We are going, Alex Rodriguez signed where? With what team?
50 home runs, down 7 in the 6th inning.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Wayne didn't get the Kings over the top, but Wayne made people talk about the LA Kings. And It was a well-intentioned idea that did not pan out. And it took roughly 15 more years. Well, it takes about 20 after A-Rod leaves. But eventually, they do break through. Now, the Kings go back-to-back. The era lasts, and it's a legitimate era of success where they win 2 cups and they're very good for a while. This Rangers team, obviously, we know, went from very bad to top of the mountain to pretty bad again. But what is interesting is that what have we talked about with this Rangers team? That there's still some of the pillars, a lot of what was there in 23 is already gone, but some of the pillars are still identifiably here, right? Corey Seager's still around. Nathan Eovaldi's around. DeGrom was on that roster, but obviously he blew his arm out that year. The Kings, all these years later, still have Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty, who were the best forward and the best defenseman on that team. And you could turn on a Kings game, and obviously they're nearing the end, but they're still both quality players. Kopitar's retiring at the end of the year. But you're looking, you're saying, I can see the broad strokes of this sting in this brief moment in time that made this franchise bigger than what it was. And that is where we're at with the Rangers. So whatever happens this year, you can watch Seager step in the batter's box and be like, World Series MVP Corey Seager.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where I'm at. I feel good about this one. I'm not going to lie. I feel good about it.
It was nice. It's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Some deep cuts right there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, awesome. No, that's good work.
Okay.
Good work.
We'll bring this back.
I got both of them somehow.
You get it. That's all we're going for. That's all we're going for.
Yeah.
We'll bring it back. Hopefully we're bringing you back next week. We appreciate you each and every week. We appreciate JD and Matt helping run this thing. We appreciate the Haymaker Studios. We'll see you next time.